Yo, what's up guys? How's everyone doing? Yeah, so I have run into some issues setting up this stream, but I hope everything is okay. Please let me know if the audio and everything is good. Guys, before I get into this stream, I want to acknowledge a couple things. I told you guys about my birthday, and so I reflect very regularly. I mean, introspection is incredibly important. I was just thinking, I met up with someone who found me through these streams and had a pretty good talk with him. So, just thinking about all these opportunities, the awesome people I've met, I wanted to thank you all for your support first and foremost before getting into this stream and the content we're about to cover. Let's go on to this TA right now, and yet again we've had another very interesting day. We have tested lower levels than our previous low, and so what that does mean is that it has now negated our pattern of setting higher lows within our patterns. This is a bearish sign, because it could potentially indicate that our uptrend is over. But there is a second side to this, which I think is extremely important, and you guys can see this with the EG Cloud. Of course, I did post it as well as TA, and really, what we are seeing right now is testing levels that were previously resistance levels, and we are now testing them as support. So we did it many days ago when we tested 7,800, and we did get a nice bounce off that. And of course, that does mean that old resistance has turned support. We did it again yesterday, and once more today, testing 7,700, which, as you guys know, is that key level for me. I think once we drop below 77, it does look pretty bleak. Our next area will be about 7,200 and then potentially 68, and like I said, I do think it is possible that we go as low as 6,800 before we start climbing back up again, and the reason for that is the Fibonacci retracement line. So if I were to draw the retracement from our previous low, where we pretty much bottomed out completely, and we look at our high, the 786 retracement line lines up nearly perfectly with our... I'm looking at the wrong thing, aren't I? Right, yeah, it's the 618 retracement line. The 618 retracement line lines up perfectly, nearly perfectly, with our $6,800 resistance or now support line. And so typically what we do see is we form rallies and we do hit higher levels. We retrace down to the 618 level, even 786, but I think that is a lot less likely considering how strong and powerful the 6,800 line is. Because of that, I do think it is possible that we can even drop as low as this and then continue higher. But what we have seen in the past 24, 48, and whatever hours is we have been testing previous support levels and they have been holding. So, as you guys know, I've been saying it in all of my streams, we've got a lot of emotional rubber banding right now, and the whole community is very scarred with this area. I mean, this kind of a trading range is... I've personally been avoiding it, only made a couple trades here and there, and of course all profitable ones, but the risk is extreme, and this is not a range. I was watching Kirby's stream, and rather video, and he said, leverage traders are crazy. Well, he didn't say that, but something like that, are crazy to be trading in this range. It's asking to get wrecked, and very simply, it's because, well, first of all, BitMEX fees are savage. They are bloody huge, and you will lose out on not only your profits but your initial investment if you do keep orders open for a very long time. And so if you're going sideways like this, you are obviously going to be keeping orders open for a long time until we do get that volatility you're looking for. And of course, in many cases, there were a lot of liquidations, going down, then going back up. This is all classic liquidation stop hunting that we are seeing with bot action right now. If we do take a look at the volume, I'm not sure if this is the updated page. I think I should probably refresh this. And we will see $14.9 billion volume. So it has gone down. This is both a good and a bad thing right now, because what we have seen today is a red day. So it is great that on a red day we are actually seeing decreasing volume. That does sort of confirm to us that the bullish volume is, the bearish volume is not very strong at the moment, and so we could definitely bounce back up. And of course, that is indicative by looking at the green support cloud we've got on the 4-hour Ichimoku. So this is a pretty good sign as well. Previously, when we did fall into this cloud, we actually went lower and then used it as a launch pad. This is a potential scenario that I did outline. This time, I don't think it will be a case where we drop lower and then use it as a launch pad, simply because this support area is so big. It's a much more powerful support for Bitcoin, and simply because of that, I think that really we should have bounced up way earlier. I mean, we've had 2 4-hour candle closes in this range, which is not a good sign. In an Ichi cloud like this, I would like to see us dip into it briefly and then bounce right back up. Unfortunately, that is not what happened. So it does show us a fair bit of weakness. If we do look at the 1-hour chart, we are seeing, big volume sell-offs with red volume, followed by weak reaction rallies. If you look at the volume, again, this is something that I did point out, and we've had the same thing going on right now. We are forming somewhat of a bilateral pattern, which, as you guys will know from my previous streams, is neither bearish nor bullish. It's actually just like an uncertainty pattern. But this very easily could also be just a classic bear flag, especially if we look at how big the volume was. Looking at these volume bars here, I mean, volume was nearly identical on both of these sell-offs on the 1-hour candles, and the following green volume candles are significantly smaller, and so really this just looks like a continuation pattern, and we could definitely be going a little bit further down. Of course, we will be fine as long as we're in this Ichimoku support cloud, and as you guys know, I have been labeling the $7,200 resistance, or rather support area, as being a very important level, because this is our the bottom of our previous consolidation range, and there has been a lot of trading in this range. 7,200 is a resistance level that we were looking at quite a fair bit, and so it does make sense that we could potentially find a bottom there, 6,800, that kind of thing. As for the title, guys, is Bitcoin ready to crash to $6,000? Really, I mean, what we're looking at on the daily chart, which, as you guys know, is the overruling chart, we have many bearish factors going at the moment, and really it is that since we started our downtrend, we've been setting highs. Our first one was 11,600. We set another high at 10,000, a double top, and this time we are setting, or have set, a high at 8,500. So really this is following some interesting patterns. I mean, 11,600 down to 10,000 was a $1,600 move, and 10,000 down to 8,500 was a $1,500 move. So very equally spaced out highs, and of course setting a new lower high if this does turn out to be our top. Alessio made a very good point in his recent video about Bitcoin's last chance, and that markets are very generous with second and third chances, but stingy with fourth and fifth chances. And guys, I have been saying for a while now, if this did turn out to be our top, I think that hope for Bitcoin has really, I hate to say it, but has really been lost quite a bit, just because it's tested these highs way too many times. If we look at this Ichi cloud, it is looking fairly decisive now as a rejection, and so it could mean that we go back down. And really, I mean, there's a lot of confusion right now, because, you know, we've got a lot of factors telling us we're bearish, especially the technicals right now. Of course, the very delicate, fragile trading mindset right now. I mean, we move up $100 or $200 and suddenly it's a pump or a dump or a crash or moon or whatever. It's ridiculous. You guys have heard me talking about this at length, and so really what this will mean is that, of course, if we do go up, that FOMO is going to kick in very quickly. It is going to send us to the moon, I guess. I don't like using the word moon too much, but the FOMO will kick in hugely, and you will get a lot of the mainstream traders really trying to buy up, market buy, and obviously try to get in on some of the action, and really this can come very quickly with positive news, with various different things that could come out conveniently timed. We see the bearish news being conveniently timed for when it's ready to go down, and of course the bullish news all being set by the manipulators, and so we are unfortunately to an extent at the mercy of them. We go back to our daily chart rather, and we do have some very important EMA lines here, the EMA ribbon, acting as support for us, and this is pretty good. It does mean, yet again, it does confirm our $7,200 price range as being the bottom. Potentially the one-day EMA ribbon rather, as you will know, has given us very nice rejections of our trend, very predictable patterns, and of course acting as support previously during our uptrend. It was also a very reliable indicator, some cases where it did dip below, but only very briefly for a couple candles, and then getting right back above it and using it as support. And so this is something I am keeping my eye on. You guys know that EMAs are probably by far my favorite indicator in this whole space, and so I will obviously be looking at those. Now, yeah, like as I said, for volume, it's decent. I mean, it's dropping, and I would like to see continuing volume. I mean, this is really a sign of weakness on the whole. You know, even though it is a red day and volume has gone down, like I said, that does show weakness for the bears. But on the whole, I mean, we haven't, you know, we should have had a very quick bounce up. We should have had bulls really defending this area, 7,700, and buying back up. You know, the fact that we've gone down to these levels and bulls haven't been buying that dip very quickly does indicate some exhaustion from where I'm seeing things. And so I think it is very possible that we end up dropping to these levels, and really all of this is painting the same overall image that I talk about in all of my posts right now, and it is that making any trade right now is not a good risk to reward trade. You know, of course, none of this is financial advice, but you know, the way I trade, the way we trade in VIP is to look for low risk, high reward trades, and so that's why our success rate is so good, and it is good because, you know, we avoid ranges like this. I mean, we've made a couple trades in them. I've personally still seen profits from them, but it has also resulted in liquidations, and many people getting liquidated. You look at BitMEX Rect, which I did show you yesterday on Twitter. I think we should take a quick look at that again. If you guys want to follow me on Twitter, go ahead and hit up that link in the description below the like and subscribe buttons. And I mean, we scroll down and we're going to see even more liquidations back when was this massive sell-off? I think it was about 12. So we are going to be looking back 10 hours or so. So I don't know, I can't be bothered to scroll down that low, but you know, if you do look at the BitMEX Rect page, you will see huge, very large orders being liquidated, and that's a lot of people losing money in these ranges. I mean, this is not a range to be trading as any sort of trader. I mean, you know, you're going to be fighting the bots, and you will get wrecked. I mean, this is just not an area to be trading in. I understand that there's going to be a little bit of impatience, but you know, I speak to a lot of people in this space, and typically what you will see is the people with a larger bankroll having a lot more patience, and one of the reasons for that is, of course, they're not about wealth creation so much as wealth management, wealth protection, and so they don't really need to worry about turning $1,000 into $100,000. So I guess in that sense, of course, being patient is inevitable, because they don't need huge gains. But nonetheless, if you want to make big numbers, you need to think like you already have them. If you're going into it with a mindset of desperation, guys, believe me, I always say it, you know, think of every mistake you've made, and I've done it 10 times. If you go into it with a mindset of desperation, there is no way, in my opinion, in my experience, to win out in these scenarios. I mean, this is why I have been sitting back and enjoying life a little bit during this range, because I mean, there's only two things you could have done here. You could have sat at these charts watching it 24/7 and panicking at every dip, potentially going short at the bottom and then getting liquidated, and then, you know, 2 days later we go down even lower and your short would have been in profit, all of this crazy stuff. Or you could have been sitting back and just focusing on other things, because really there have been no trades to make in this range, and I don't think that is going to change until we see some better risk to reward situations within this market. But you know, apart from that, I have covered pretty much everything. We do have a pretty low RSI on the 4-hour chart, but as you guys know, I have not been using the RSI as of late. I don't think it is a very important indicator. Bitcoin hasn't been respecting it. As I say, I only keep the RSI on simply because it makes me feel comfortable. Guys, I am ready to go through your questions though. With that, of course, if you are interested in VIP, do hit up the gold link in the description. You can message me by clicking my name at the bottom of posts in Crypto Mafia Gold. You know, I'm not about that wrecked city life, exactly. One of Kirby's little quotes there, I think. Yeah, if you want to join VIP, go ahead and hit me up there, and I will give you all the information. Just ask, how do I join VIP? Guys, if we can smash up those likes real quick. What are my Ichi Cloud settings, Marius? I'll go ahead and show them to you right now. 20, 60, 120, 30. Those are my Ichi Cloud settings. Why not use stop loss right before liquidation? Stop losses are not, you know, you wouldn't place a stop loss at 96% loss to save yourself from a further 4% loss, which would result in a liquidation. I think stop losses are misinterpreted. I use them in a very different way than many other traders. Many people will place stop losses only, say, 10% behind their entry, and so the maximum they can lose is 10% if things go bad. Personally, I don't care where the percentage loss is. I place my stop losses only ahead of important levels. So I had a call with one of our VIP members about this today, and were I to short in this area, which of course, as you guys know, I didn't, but were I to short, we do have important resistance at 8,300. We have been rejected by this area many times within our trend, and so if you were to take on a short, a stop loss could be placed at 8,550, because that is $50 higher than our previous peak. It is possible that we wick up to 8,549 and then go down, and so it would not be useful to have your stop loss placed at, say, 8,400, because we would have went up and then down, and had you not placed the stop, you'd be in a profit. Of course, it's $50 ahead of our high, because were we to go that high, it is possible that we would pump up much further, and the trend would actually be positive, would be a bullish trend, and in that case you obviously don't want a short open. So whether that level means I'd be in a 50% loss or a 5% loss, I don't really care too much. I only place it ahead of important levels. Short the Head and Shoulders. I don't think we have a Head and Shoulders right now. Please do the high-pitched Kirby voice. At the very least, mention James at the water cooler. Check out the 1 month chart with the Ichi Cloud on the log scale. That is a very good thing to be checking out. Thank you for bringing that up. I can't run the Ichi Cloud on this chart, unfortunately. Let's go for Bitstamp. Okay, so I still can't run the Ichi Cloud on this. I don't think it's possible to do that then, perhaps. But yeah, you know, a lot of talk of our monthly bullish engulfing candle. I mean, it's not as strong as it was before, considering we have dropped. I mean, our previous close, let me turn on the OHLC indicator. Where is that? There it is. So our monthly close open, rather, last month was 7,500, and right now we are sitting at 7,700. So we are only $200 above today where we opened last month. I hope that makes sense. So this is by definition a bullish engulfing candle, but a weak one at that. We haven't really gone high by much. I personally don't like to look at the monthly chart. There isn't much you can extrapolate from this. If anything, this is either telling us that we're in a falling wedge formation, which we have broken out of, as you guys know. You have seen my TA on that many times, or we could be forming another similar pattern to what Bitcoin did back in 2014, and of course that would mean a very sustained U-shape, you know, cup and handle formation, and that would obviously indicate that we've got a very long time to go before this bear market does end. Personally, you guys know, you know, if I had to pick one side, I am still bullish. The fundamentals have never been better. We do have a bunch of news right around the corner that could very easily result in huge pumps. You know, the ETF news and different things like that, which cannot be ignored. So I am still personally bullish in this market, but of course I will need to see how these levels are breached. I have been giving signals in preparation for these levels being breached in the VIP channel. So of course, if you guys are interested, you can go ahead and hit me up for that. You will be able to know what I'll be doing in advance. in those cases. Let's see what else we've got. Brave New Coin Index. I've never heard of that. My voice is very low. I mean, it looks fine to me on the gain. Perhaps, yeah, I am speaking quite quietly today. It has been a very tiring day for me. Don't do Kirby's voice. We have a shampoo Head and Shoulders. That's funny. We don't have a Head and Shoulders right now that I'm seeing. Any other questions we've got? I mean, I do have to keep this one fairly quiet. Sorry, not quite, fairly short, rather. If you give us trade signal to VIPs, how much time do they have to get into the trade before it's too late? Danny, I tried to give these signals well in advance, and because we don't trade the very short-term time frames, they're typically, I mean, it varies, but, you know, 6 to 8 hours, 6 to 16 hours even. I try to give them well in advance of movements, but the important thing here is obviously you don't want to keep trades open for a very long time, because you pay a lot in fees, and so you want to get in, get out quickly. That's how we play it. But of course, we're not trading, you know, these kinds of candles. We are looking for the bigger movements like this one here. Desk is wrecked. Yeah, Kirby smashing those tables a little bit. It's a chart in trading view. What was it again? I forgot the name. I can't even do the Kirby voice. I'm pretty sure I tried it in like January, talking about different traders. Yellow box peak, 7700 head peak. I have no idea what you guys are talking about. I hear you fine. Your voice sounds perfectly clear. Awesome. Bear flag in the making on the 1 hourly. Yeah, David, that is something I did point out. I'm not sure if I sent that over to Gold as well, but yeah, what we have got here, yeah, like I said, we've got descending volume, really looking quite sinister, and very easily leading into another dump, I think. But of course, we do have a lot of bullish factors going on at the same time, and so really there is no low risk, high reward play in this situation, and I wouldn't, you know, I'm not making any trades here. I just don't think it's safe, and there will always be a time for the correct trade, but that time is not now, and it's not near either. How long is quick in reference to what? Quick for me is usually you know, couple hours, a day or 2 days max. That's you know, that's what I class as short term, really. Should we close long position now at market to stop the bleeding? The Long Island guy, I would have not entered a position anyway, so I can't really comment on that. But were I to have a long position open right now, I would definitely have closed it way earlier, and if that's not possible, I would close it right now. Just because there is still a good chance that we end up going lower, and you know, it depends on where your liquidation is, of course, but it's not safe to keep these positions open. Those BitMEX fees will take you to BitWrecked City, definitely. Do you see BNB as a potential hedge versus Bitcoin? Dom, BNB is holding up very well in these markets right now, I think. Yeah, I mean, look at that. Against Bitcoin, it's been rising, and so, of course, holding its dollar value. Let's look at the Tether chart. Yeah, so we are seeing a bit of a run right now. Yeah, BNB is very strong. I mean, yeah, look at that, holding its value for months. I mean, wow, that's pretty good, right? I mean, you know, it didn't dip below this support line for a very long time, and we're talking since March. So, well, you know, it could be a hedge against Bitcoin, but I don't trade alts, as you guys will know, and while it is good for Bitcoin now, I mean, there's just not enough security, in my opinion, with Binance Coin for me to put a large stake behind it. I mean, all I hold is Bitcoin and Ethereum. Yeah, but guys, with that, I will be heading off for this stream. Like I said, I did have to keep this one short. It wasn't very short, I think, but perhaps, yeah, I did cover everything I wanted to. Of course, just take a quick look at the alt market, and yet again, guys, it is, when we switch to the Bitcoin trading pairs, we consider that Bitcoin has gone down by 5% today, and all of these alts that are in red have gone down by a further, 4 to 3%, and a couple gainers here. So Ripple, the one they've actually announced a partnership with Bill Clinton at a talk, which I found to be hilarious. Tether obviously up 5% when Bitcoin is down 5%. So, nothing surprising here. I mean, I've been saying it every day. Alts are not something I would. I mean, I haven't been in alts for more than a month. I think, yeah, literally just haven't even had an alt apart from Ethereum, which I don't count as an alt, for a very long time. I can't go back to the homepage now. Okay, guys. Yeah, with that, alts are bleeding. Yes, they are. Ethereum fell pretty hard. Yeah, it did. I mean, Ethereum is down a little bit less than Bitcoin, actually, but on the whole, Ethereum has been hit harder than Bitcoin. Ethereum runs harder than Bitcoin, and of course, gets hit harder than Bitcoin as well. It is still a very sound coin, in my opinion. I think there is a lot of, we look at these markets right now, and of course, zoom out and look at Bitcoin in its whole trend, and really, I mean, it's not like fundamentals got any worse during this downtrend. I mean, if anything, they got a lot better. And so really, I think what we are seeing right now is technical analysis and psychology of the markets being the only two drivers to make Bitcoin so weak in this current climate. But on the whole, it is still showing a lot of signs of strength, and that is why, despite where we have fallen, we've held 7,700. We are battling it, and the bulls are weak. We've just dipped back into 7,600s for, I don't know, like the second, third, fourth time today. So the bulls are weak, but like I showed you, that 618 retracement, Bitcoin very often does respect those 618 retracements, and so I am not ruling anything out until 6,800 is breached. That is the line I'm looking to. Hector, Verge, Stellar, and Tron are the best odds in my opinion. Yeah, so 6,800 is the line I am looking to see breached in order to really be quite bearish with Bitcoin. But at the moment, I am still, I want to see how this monthly candle closes. I want to see how this daily closes before I do start drawing conclusions of these charts. I mean, like I said, there is still absolutely nothing concerning to me with this chart at the moment. If anything, we are still within our uptrend. We did breach 7,700, but until we close below 7,700, we don't really have any confirmation that we have broken this trend. But guys, with that, like I said, it has been a pleasure. Make sure you smash up those likes once more before I do go off. Of course, if you want to join the Gold channel, you can get a lot of my signals there, and VIP, of course. If you want to get everything that I offer, you can do that. Again, make sure you smash up those likes, subscribe, tick the bell so you don't miss out on my content. But with that, it has been a pleasure as usual. I will come straight back to you guys tomorrow with a little bit more energy and hopefully a better analysis, a more bullish analysis to give you following our July monthly close. But yeah, guys, I'm out. Peace.